everybody, it's Sally from Sally Stampers. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm bringing you my little gift card holder. I don't want to open it up because it took me forever to tie this bow, but obviously you will see as we make it that it contains a gift card. It does have this little sort of belly band on, which I will slide. And as you can see, in fact, yes, that's not a bad idea. Slide it off. And then as you can see, it's got a semi die cut oval there, and then inside it holds your gift card, and you can obviously write your messages on the inside, or you could pop them on the back there. But yeah, and it just literally tucks in, and then this goes, she says now, can't get this back on. Can we, oh, just do it. Yes, there we go, beautiful. And then you can just put your belly band on, which then covers your oval as well. And there you have your little gift card holder. You could put it in a little stocking, you could stick it to a bar of chocolate or something, but it's perfect and it's cute. So I'll show you how to make it. So to start off with then, you're just going to need a piece of coloured cardstock, whichever you want to use, that is 6 inches by 3 3/4. And I'm just going to use my trimmer for this because it's so much easier. You're simply going to score on the long side at 1 3/4 and then 4 1/4. Okay, so I realised I didn't do my centimetres, so I'll start again. So my coloured card is 6 by 3 3/4, which is 15 by 9.5 centimetres, and then we scored it at 1 3/4 and 4 1/4, which is 4.5 and 10.5 centimetres. Okay, so I'm just going to fold and burnish these little score lines here. That just the two. Don't need any more than that. So just fold and burnish those. And then I'm using the Snowman Season stamp set. So I've used various elements on my gift card. So the snowflakes are what I'm going to use to stamp on the paper here. Christmas Cheer is actually from Itty Bitty Sentiment. No, Itty Bitty Christmas. I think that is the only stamp set that I have used over and over again. I love it. It's just perfect. I love my Itty Bitty stamp sets. So yeah, so we've got the snowflakes just here. Merry Christmas was inside on the white gift card holder, if you like, on the inside. And then this little fella here is just this one, which I've just sort of stamped his head off. And then I've used this small one here just to continue the snowflakes around the top. So I did get my use out of that. So I've got my snowflakes here, and I've got my gorgeous grape ink, and I'm literally, now you can either stamp on or you can stamp off. My prototype, which I have here, as you can see with sort of folds and stuff on, I did actually stamp off. This one is the full ink, so it's entirely up to you which way you do it. You know, as I say, it doesn't really matter. So I'm actually going to start off by just doing the bottom edge here. And then I'm going to fold it over and fold it over again. And just, oops, not get it on my thumb, ideally. And then we're just going to stamp the snowflakes onto here. I don't want the three together, so there we go. And then I'm going to do exactly the same on this side. I just didn't want any on the back, but obviously if you want to, you can. So again, just going along doing the edge here, fold it over and fold it over, and then I'm literally just going to stamp these few here. There we go. And as usual, I've forgotten to spritz my Stamp and Scrub. So just get that clean. And then put my gorgeous grape away. So now we just need to cut out our oval. So I am going to use my big shot for this, which I will bring in to show you how I've done it. So what you're going to need is some washi tape and your layering ovals. I've dug the one out that I feel fits best onto my card. And then, are they both the same? This is how rubbish I am. I don't actually know if they're the same size. Let's have a quick look. 1 3/4, right, so you've got one that's just a fraction bigger. I'm going to have that as the piece that I want to cut. So I'm going to pop my cardstock in the way that I want it to cut. Okay, so this takes me a minute. My brain takes a minute to figure this out. That's correct. So I'm going to put this where I want it. So I want my oval to be cut just here. You could hang this over the edge if you wanted to. Sorry, I completely did that off camera shot. You could hang this over the edge and do it sort of that way if you like, but I don't feel that that is as precise. So I'm going to do it this way because then I've got all my card resting as well. I'm going to pop my oval onto my cardstock just where I want it to go. So I'm making sure I'm eyeballing my gap here to make sure that my gaps either side here are similar. I don't want it too close to the top either because I don't want the risk of that tearing. So I reckon about there. And to stop things moving around, I'm simply going to have 2 pieces of my washi, and I've actually just sort of played with them a little bit just to get some of the excess sticky off, because you actually don't want it to be that tacky. If you've got any of the low tack tape or anything like that, obviously you could use that instead. I just sort of play around with the washi tape until I feel the sticky is not quite as good, and then I just literally pop it on to my die and my card to hold it in place. Now ideally I could do with a plate that has a flat edge like this here. If I do it over the purple, you can see flat edge, whereas this one's beveled is the word. You see how it has that slopey bit. So what I'm going to do, because I want it to cut only so far, I'm going to lay it onto my die cut, but I'm actually making sure that the beveled bit is actually where I want it to cut to. So if it does go a little bit further, it doesn't matter, but I've just levelled it up there because that's where I want it to go. Ensure that your cardstock is straight, and then I have a moment where I remember which way I'm going, and then I'm simply just going to run it through just like that. Pop this out of the way, and then I can show you that then when you very carefully take your washi off, you have that little bit there, die cut. So when you fold this over, you can tuck this inside, she says. There we go, and it holds it shut. Okay, so that's that part done. Leave that on because you will need it in just a second, because the next piece we then need is our Whisper White that's going to sit just inside like that, but we need our bit taking out there. So the first thing I'm going to do is stamp my Merry Christmas across the bottom, just like that there. Give that a little clean, just pop that away, and then back in with my big shot, because this time I'm going to pop that on, and I also then want to use this. I'm going to turn it round actually, and then my washi tape will hold a little better. And again, I'm just checking that the gaps are similar here. Don't want to go too low, so maybe just half or just under. And then again, we're just going to run that through. And while you have all of this out, and I've pre-done it anyway, but die cut another white oval. Just die cut that doesn't need any bits sort of missing or anything. It's just a complete die cut oval in Whisper White. And then again, just very carefully, let's pop that out of the way. Take the washi off. There and there. And that's that bit done. So I'm just going to take that off. Okay, so that's that part done. So we need to stick this inside. Now I am going to use good old tear and tape. So I'm going to use a full thickness of my tear and tape across the bottom part, so the opposite side that you've die cut, and I'm going right up to that edge there. Sorry if my head gets in shot, I need to line it up. So it's now fully lined up almost across the bottom here. Okay, what I'm going to do is just take a corner away, just fold that back slightly for a moment, because I need to put some tear and tape on the sides. Now I don't want the full thickness. Oh, forgot to put my phone on silent. Let's just do that before anything else happens. So yeah, so I don't want to use the full thickness. I only want about half. So I'm starting at the bottom where I've taken the backing off. And if you can see through the light there, I've only used it half thickness. So I'm just going to cut that across the top there. So I've just got, can you see, just a half thickness of it. I'm then just going to take the backing off this. If you have thin tear and tape or thinner tear and tape, then obviously you can just use that. But I don't, so I'm just using this. And so I now have that half there, and I'm simply going to fold it over back onto itself. So I now actually only have a half thickness of it there. I just need to trim whatever's going on there. And then I can just pop that back over for a moment, and then I do exactly the same on the other side. So I'm just peeling back a tiny bit, and this is only if you don't have any thinner double-sided tape, which I don't, so I'm just making do with what I have. Halfway down, you'll see that I didn't press it down, and that's because obviously I don't want it to stick to my grid paper. You can do all the pressing down when you adhere it to your coloured card. So I'm just going to take the backing off this one, and then the same again, fold it right over onto itself. And what you basically want is this to be clean still, okay, so it's not tacky at all. That's the idea. Take that backing off the bottom, and then I fold this piece up. So you want to make sure you've got the missing die cut here, and then you're going to butt this line up to your score line. I hold this up because I find it helps me, and then at least I can just concentrate on getting these sides in the right place. So I just sort of push the bottom up towards the score line, and then literally just lay it down. And as I said, this is now where you can push that tear and tape and make sure it's nicely adhered. Then you want to pop your gift card inside, which initially is a little bit tight, but then it does obviously fit in. Slide that in, and it will just go just to that crease, and then obviously we can fold our pocket over and tuck it in. Okay, so if you do happen to have, I don't know if you can see that, yeah, if you do happen to have just a tiny bit of the Whisper White overhanging, just trim it. It's simple as that. Just get your scissors, to open it up, get your scissors, and then just literally go along that coloured card and just trim it. Okay, so all that's left now is my belly band. So as I said, I've done my oval. I have pre-stamped left this one, as I said, just because it would save time. Now, I wanted 2 holes either end for my ribbon to go through. So I actually used the Detailed Trio punch. And the way I did this is I put my oval in, but obviously because it's an oval, you haven't got that edge. So I actually, if you can see here and here, I actually used those as a guide. So I popped my oval in, and if you can see now, both ovals are lined up with this outside mark. So I literally just lined those up. I kind of made sure my sentiment, as long as it's straight and in the centre, was lined up with this line as well, because you have another line here. So you know everything's sort of lined up. And then I punched it. And then I did exactly the same on the other end. So I'm lining it up, my sentiment, my edges, making sure it's pushed in as far as it will go to. And there you have your 2 little divots either side. So I'm using the mini striped ribbon because it coordinates with both. And then I've gone in through one side and then pull it through the other. And then mine's just going to get popped onto my gift card. Give it a little tug to give me some excess there for tying my bow. And then in whichever fashion you can, you just then want to tie your bow. Now, I did find this slightly fiddly. You need to really pull it quite as tight as you can, otherwise this just sort of flops about and looks silly. So I pulled that as tight as I could, and then, as I say, it kind of becomes a bit of a fiddle to keep everything tight and getting a nice bow. And then once you're there, actually you can then fiddle and play. As you know, we spend hours fiddling and playing with bows. I don't think this looks as nice as the other one in terms of the bow, but just give that a tug and a straighten. Oh crumbs, why is that one bigger? Okay, and then as I said, you can just then sort of rearrange where you want it all to sit, and then just trim those off there. And then the last little thing, I actually used the glitter enamel dots. As you can see, I've not got many left now. And this was another reason why I wanted to go with the Bermuda Bay and Gorgeous Grape, was because I had these beautiful dots to go with it. And I just popped one up there and one on there, and that's it. Didn't want to add any more to that. But I think they're really lovely, and I'm hoping that somebody would like to receive one of those in their Christmas stocking, or even change the season up, make them for birthdays or anything. Hope you like them. Hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you all again soon. Bye!